G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Biker Bits bloody garage where we try and fix our own bikes. Righto, we've got a Postie Bike over here, let's check it out. Okay, so for some of you guys that aren't in Australia, Postie Bike is a Honda CT110. This is it here. Now, we've been having a few problems. I'm just looking to it. Most probably needs new fork oil, bloody seals done on it. But we have an intermittent problem and with it starting. Once it starts, it's good for all day, whatever. It's just sometimes it won't start, and we've been trying to source out what the problem is, and there's whether it's electrical or stators or whatever it is. What I've done is I've bought a carburetor or Carby kit to do that. So in this video, I want to do the air box, because obviously the air box flows into the Carby, and pull the Carby apart and do a rebuild on it. Never done it before, so let's see how it goes. Actually guys, as a side note, I've got another Postie Bike here. This one's called Charlie, the other one's called Tango. They're pretty much identical bikes. This one, don't have a problem with it. Righto. Right, I think I'm gonna have to make some bloody room in here, guys. Done. You know what, guys? I should have actually washed him before bringing him in, but it's cold and wet out there, and you know how life goes. So I'm just going to whack him up on the jack so that I don't have to, you know, be bending down as much. If we can get him underneath there. Oh, about there, I reckon. Righto, don't forget to put the safety on. Move him back into the centre. Come on. Oh, the bloody mat's in the way. There we go. So hopefully, yeah, that'll be all right. Cool. Right, so there's a whole heap of bits and pieces that I've got to pull off to start getting into there. So I'm just going to rip all this down, then we'll get into doing all the good stuff. Righto guys, so I've got this little bloody bag setup thing out of the way. All we've got to do is take a few screws out of this top thing. Righto, so there is our carburetor that we're going to be rebuilding, but I've got to check this and see how that looks. Right, that should enable us to, oh no, that's right, I've got to do that. Geez, I reckon I've done that before. There's a plastic bit there, so you've got to undo that. There's a plastic bit up here, which I've busted. Rightio, so I can see that there is already some crap coming out of this thing. Oh yeah, look at that. That's not good. Just give that a bit of a gentle persuasion. There we go. Now we'll get him off. Oh. Brilliant. One off. Come on. He needs a bit of persuasion as well. Crikeys. He's on there good. Don't want to wreck the rubber, obviously. There we go. Whew. Righto. Okay. So I'm just making sure that I keep everything in their own little bits and pieces. So I know where everything has to go back. Alright, now, just undo this thing. I'm pulling it totally apart. You don't have to do as much as what I'm doing just to clean the air filter. But I think if I'm going this far, I'll go right in. Surely hang on to that. And then unwind that. Comes out. I mean, everything's looking all right. You know, a bit of dirt and debris and stuff coming out. But that should be, you know, there's that rock that was jiggling around. So by the look of it, the air cleaner has been doing what it's supposed to do. Take that off. Yeah, I mean, it's grotty, but I wouldn't say it's overly bad or anything. A bit of a nick there, but it's not all the way through. Bit there. Just got to be careful. They get a bit older, they get a bit fragile. They can tear easily. Right, that looks nice and clean, which it should. So this will need to be cleaned it like you normally would. I would just use Caro, re-oil it, clean all the bits and pieces, and that's done. Right, but we're not going to do that right now, because I've done this plenty of times. I know how that works, so I want to get into the good stuff. Make sure I put all my bits and pieces where they should, and I know how to put it all back together. Right, so that's all the air cleaner stuff. I should be able to figure out how to put it back. Righto, now down into the good stuff. So there's the Carby there. I've just realised I've got a problem. I've got the hoses that I've got to disconnect, but that means all the fuel in the tank up here is going to come rushing out. So I'm going to have to take this bike back outside to do that. Got the throttle cable here. So if I undo this, I know that there's going to be a sleeve and a needle and a springy Duvalaki. There we go. So we'll do something with this, but we'll put that down there for the moment. And then I've got a breather hose and a drain hose, which I think I'll bring out with the Carby. But I need to get rid of this. I need to sort this out. Okay, so I've taken these off. I have no idea. I'm presuming petrol is just going to come. Of course, they're not going to come off easy, are they? The old turneroo to loosen them. I might get a screwdriver. All right, there's one. Oh shit, okay. All right, hang on. What are we doing, Mark? Stop that. Oh, so that's got a sleeve. I'm gonna get that one off. All right, what I might do is put that one back on for the minute. There's that bloody screwdriver. Oh. Don't want to damage the rubber. There we go, that's got it. So now if I take out the bottom one, what's going to happen? Right, cool. So can I get that? I'm going to clamp this one. Brilliant. Well, that worked really well. I wish I had two of these. So now this one. Oh, look at that. Brilliant. Love it. Right, now I can bring it back in and not have petrol going all over me floor. Righto. And I can shut this so I don't lose all my hot air. Righto guys, we're getting somewhere. So as far as I can tell, I just got to take these two bolts off here, which all the fuel and air goes into the bloody cylinder. Take these off, and that whole carby should come away. Oh, that was pretty good, not too tight. What about the other one? Can I get in there? Beautiful. That's one out. That's another one. I'll make sure I grab that little plastic piece there. It doesn't look like it's any either side. So I might leave these in here. Now, should be able to pull this and those hoses out. Oh, that one's all jammed. Oh, look at that. That's all broken anyway. Oh, there. Ah. Hang on. I've got petrol on the floor. Oh. This stuff eats through the paint that I've got on there. Righto, so tip for the beginners. There's still going to be fuel in there, and when you tip it over, it's going to come out. Righto guys, so here we go. This is the bloody carburetor. Remember, never done it before. This is obviously knackered, so I might as well get rid of that. Oh, I still got petrol coming out of this thing. Bloody leaking out of it. Right, so for me, so I understand, obviously I know that's where the air goes in through there. That is our little choke. That's the accelerator needle slide sleevey thing that goes in there. That's the part that shoots off into the engine to the piston. That's our float bowl where the petrol sits in there, ready to mix with the air. That's where the petrol comes in, and our petcock. And then we've got, I don't know which one's which. There's two screws. One's the air mixture, is it, or fuel mixture? And one's an idle. I don't fully understand how these things work, but that's what I'm doing. Getting a bit of a better understanding of it. These rubbers seem pretty buggered. So now, I think what I'll do is I'll pull this float off. I have actually done that on a on another motorbike. Oh, actually, guys, sorry. Here is the, I haven't even opened the bloody thing. This is the rebuild kit. I got it from Lambda Motorcycles. There it is. Wow, lots of little pieces in there. So this cost me $17.98. Right. So I'm videoing. I would normally take photos if I'm not videoing, but I video everything these days. So I know where things are going to go back in. That one out. And then in here, oh wow. Can you see that? Hang on, let me turn some lights on. See, there's a bit of crap down there. Yeah, wow. Look at that. Okay, well that's good to see that there's crap in there. There's our little float. So I've got to work out how to take out without breaking it. And I'll presume that all these are going to be replaced, all these things that will nut out. Oh, well, that was pretty easy. Really? That just... Oh, obviously, once you have this back on, this thing can't come out. So we take that out of there, and then that should, oh, look at that, what's coming out the bottom? It's like a little pendulum thing. Oh, oh. It's okay, I found it. Now apparently, I seen someone else pulling one of these apart on the Postie, and we'll do that right now actually, while we're on this end. There is a filter, a screen, in behind this. So we might as well have a look at that, see if it needs a bit of a clean. Petrol just keeps pouring out of this thing everywhere. Oh, look at all the crap. Wow. Yeah. Oh, this is good. This is really good. That O-ring should just pop out. So I wonder if I open this up here and see if there's something in there, or whether no, that's pretty much, that's looks like rivets. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get into that thing. That'll just get a soak. God, I hope I remember how to put all this back. All right, let's do this. Is that a 17? Yes, it is. Huh. Wow. So in actual fact, that is something that can be you can just clean that without pulling this apart. Look at that shit. Yeah, so that's going to be able to come out somehow, but just let me, no, that must be able to pull out. Oh, look. So that's the, yeah, that's the little filter. That's different from what I saw on the other one. Cool, so that gets a clean up. There's a O-ring there. Beautiful, righto. So I need to make sure I put all this stuff together. I'll put them to the side for now. That way I've got half a clue of knowing where stuff's got to go back. So now, these things obviously look like they can be screwed out. All these should be able to be screwed out. Whatever that is. Another one of those, but a smaller one. So that one might be one might be idle, one might be the throttle, I don't know. Cool, so that's out. There you go. That little bloody idle thing. I'm hoping these are all in that kit. Then we've got this one here. Done. So how much more? I don't think I need to take any of that part away. I think this should most probably just be to go and get soaked. But let's have a look what pieces we have in here. So do I have? Oh, I don't know. Hang on, guys. Rightio, guys, so here are all the old parts that I've pulled out of the Carby. Here are the replacement parts, so this bit here will go into there. And I've checked, some of this, like this screw here is just a little bit different than that one, or is it that? No, it's that one. It's a little bit different, but when you match up where they get, it all works out. So they're correct. That's got a washer to go, an O-ring to go on that one. I've got this little pendulum thing to go, so we'll replace that one. That's fine. Now with all these O-rings, so yep, that's cool. That will match with that. I've got one O-ring here, but there's actually two of these. One that goes in there and one on that side fits in. But I've only got one, and that's the only size. This one here, which I have nothing for, it's a flat whereas all these are, you know, rounded. So I don't know what the deal, I most probably have to use one of these. And then all these match up with all these parts. So I've got that sorted. Obviously I know that that's the needle and that's on the bike at the moment. And I'm presuming these parts here are to do with that, this needle setup on the throttle body. And I was just over there just checking that, and I was pushing the needle up and all of a sudden it went click. So I don't know how hard it is to put all, it looks really, really fiddly, so I don't know, but we'll give it a shot. Right, so what it's all kind of like, I was pushing that up, and I can see there's a little clip here that's come up, but I don't know how to do, well there you go, there's that out, the needle. But how this part works, there's something hooking over here that popped up and it wasn't there before. I don't want to bend anything too much. Oh, can I see down there? Maybe if you, okay, maybe if I push, will that come out now? Oh, there you go, look at that. Oh, I can see the little pieces that are up on the desk. Righto, we'll put that down there. See, there's this piece here as well. All right, cool. And there's that spring, which we don't have a replacement for that one. Right. Oh yeah, there's a little seal in there. Oh, so I wonder that's, yeah, I'll have to have a look. That's that seal that I don't have anything for might go in here. Righto, let's bring this up to the desk. Rightio, so I've now figured out, so there's our needle replacement. Obviously you don't have a new one of those. The top of that throttle cable thing, that came out, which is the one that I had the missing one for over here. So that now belongs with that one. I've got a new one of those, a new one of those. So now my only thing is I have a missing one here, a missing new one. That's not a big issue, because it's actually that, and then that goes in there, and then they go on. So I'll just use one of those. So yeah, not a big deal. But I've got two pieces here. So this tiny little O-ring there, and this piece here. But I reckon what the deal is, that O-ring there, see that one's got an O-ring. This one goes on there. On this one here, it doesn't have an O-ring on it. But when I look at this one, and I'll put these together, because this has confused me to start with. I put these together, and this one, the new one, was way bigger. But if I put that screw down to where that it matches the same. So there's a spot right there that an O-ring will obviously sit over. So I think I have worked out that back in there, that over that, and that O-ring is going to go on there. So now that just leaves me with this thing here. I'm nearly there, guys. So what I'm going to do is come back to you. I'm going to have a look around all these parts and see where I can find where that's supposed to go. Rightio, guys, I reckon I've found it, and it's that little piece right in the middle there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that's down in that hole there. So that little brass piece there has got to go in there. And we can just see it sticking out the top there. So I would presume that I've got to push that way to get that out. I don't think I would push it that way. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I should do a bit of research. Rightio, guys, I've figured out that it was most probably going to be to go out this way, and I just did that and it just popped out. So now, because I've been looking at that, there's a fat end and a thin end, and it's also just by bee's whisker, longer on this end than it is on that end. So now I've got to know that when this thing comes out, which way. Well, now that I know all, I've got all the bits and pieces, know where they all go. So all the parts that aren't being replaced, I've now just got to clean them all up. I'm going to do it in the old Kero wash. Righto, so what I'll do is I'm going to I'm going to just soak all this stuff in here. And then once they've soaked in there for a little while, I'll bring each piece out and give them a bit of a tickle with one of these. Look at that, the old floats. Then whack that in there. And hopefully that one will go pretty much all in. There we go, done. So remember guys, I'm not a mechanic, I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I'm not telling you how to do it. Yeah, so that'll get a good bloody jiggle around. I'd love to actually get one of those ultrasonic cleaners. They look the bloody business. All right, I'm gonna go have a cuppa and a bit of a what? I don't know. I'm just gonna go have a cuppa, and then I'll come back and I'll start zhuzhing all these up. I won't show you that bullshit because it's just, you know, just cleaning them up, that's it. Then we'll start the reassemble. Rightio guys, all the parts are cleaned up. I've got all my new ones, I've got rid of all the old ones. So now I've got to somehow put all this back together. That was the very, I don't know if this is boring to you guys or not. I'll most probably speed up certain bits and pieces. But I think this is just showing you that, you know, I've never done this before. And if you, yeah, you can do it. Now I said that one there had to go in there and it was bum out. So that was the thick end, was to go out. So that just gets popped into there like that. Boom. What next? I've just got to find screws and figure out where they go. That's going to be my bloody issue, isn't it? So that's got to have, I know that there is the new O-ring that goes in there. Hopefully most of this stuff will only have one place that it can go in. Otherwise, I'll have to go to this video and have a look. That looks pretty good in there. I've got, oh that's right, I've got this all, look at that, that's beautiful and clean. So that went in there. Did it go that way? Or it has to go that way, wouldn't it? It wouldn't go that way. No. So that's going that way. But then there was a washer, an O-ring that went around the outside of that. Right, so I've got 3 screws left to go. Now obviously there's one here, and I have no idea. 1, 2, where was the third one? There was a third one somewhere. Can't remember what it was for. Oh, the third one's here. Oh, it's the drain. To drain the fuel out of the bowl. So I reckon, looking at that, I reckon it's this one here that's going in there. Beautiful. I think that's right. Right, so now we've got just 2. Idle screw and I don't know. So the pilot screw is the one with the really thin needle point thing. I've got to put these are the same size. It goes up the top here. I've got to be careful not to screw that in too tight because it can damage that neck. Whoa. It'll damage that needle thing. And this one is the throttle stop screw. That goes in there. Screw that until it stops, and then I've got to work out what I should have taken note of how many turns it was from stop. Excellent. Right, so that stuff here is for down over there on that throttle thing. That's going to go on there when I go to put that all back together. So now I've got to do, oh, hang on. All this here is for there. So I've got this float, 2 screws to put it all together, and that. All right. So I think, oh, actually over here, where does this thing goes in first? Does that go in there? Hang on, I've got to have a look. If you look, I've got the service manual, the PDF version of it. If I slot that in there like that, so that's how, when I was showing you before, it was like dangling. So now come down and sit that in there like that. There, that's the way to do it. And then we'll get our little rod that's going to hold all that in there. Slide that in. And that should be a done deal. Right, nothing left over there. So that means I can now put this back on here. Done. Righto, so I've just got to remember to adjust these before we go trying to bloody start it up. But now I've got to figure out how to get this thing done. The other problem that I have too, guys, is that so I'm presuming that this little tiny like a circlip type thing, I'll get that in there like that. See how there's those grooves? At what point do I put the clip up the top or down the bottom or in the middle? I don't know. Somebody's most probably screaming at the friggin' screen, I'm sure. So I've got to push that. Well, if I just go in the middle and Harvey that up, boom, got it on there. Hopefully you can see that. Oh. But yeah, I don't know. Where does it go? So I've got that, install the needle jet into the throttle body. So that's got to go down in there like that. So if I've got that too high, well, is that going to affect the, like if I was, yeah, I don't know. Because now that can only, oh, I don't know. And now I've got to use this in there to secure it somehow. Come on, Mark, use your brain. And of course, this is obviously an old bike, as in an old model. It's a 2010, but the photos are that blurry and black and white, it's hard to see. Somehow that is, I'll come back to you guys. Righto guys, there it is there, that clip. Hopefully you can get that in there. All you got to do is just push it down flat and it just clips into its spot. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, I'll do this for a second time because I didn't press record. So you put your spring on, it doesn't matter which way it goes by the look of it. Gather it all up. Get our little slide or whatever thing this is. Feed that in there. Can you see that? Yep. And then boom, it all just kind of like jiggles into its spot. So hopefully, look at that. Brilliant. And now I'll do it for the third time because I forgot to put this washer in. All right, gather all this stuff up. Feed that out. And then, come on. It should just click out like that. Now we put the washer in there. This is what happens when you're doing it for the first time, when you're not a mechanic. Trial and error. Boom. All right, now we are good to go. Rightio guys, it is all back together. I've done a bit of an adjustment with I've done 1.5 turns out on the pilot screw and just a touch off on the throttle. I was a bit confused on that one, but we're gonna give it a go. So it's all back. Let's see if it starts. Rightio. So this thing's just dangling there. That's all right. I'm not confident at all. Ignition on. I think we'll just leave that there. I'm on reserve. Make sure that's on the on. Rightio. Oh, I don't believe it. Wow. Well, that was bloody surprising. I wonder if it was the Carby the whole time. So I've got to make adjustments with the screws. I'm going to have to do that tomorrow because it'll still fill up. I'll bloody gas myself out and I don't want to annoy my neighbours. Well, there you go, guys. So hopefully I've edited this into such a way that it was entertaining, maybe a little bit informative. We'll see how this goes because, as I said, this is intermittent, but I tell you what, for that bike to start up like that, wow. I might have to buy a kit for Charlie and do the same thing with that bike because, wow, that really, hey, bloody fantastic. Righto, guys. Remember, keep on riding, and if you ain't riding, keep on keeping on.